The House just inched towards something most people in power do not want: a vote to force the release of documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, and the people who he kept close. And not just the well-known files either, but the ones still held by the Department of Justice. You see, it's all hanging on an old tool called the Discharge Petition. It lets a simple majority, 218 members, bring a bill to the floor even if leadership wants it buried. And boy, do they ever. And today, with Rep. Adelita Grijalva sworn in, they're seemingly hitting that mark. However, signatures can still be pulled, and that's why there's pressure right now. Because if the petition crosses 218, it triggers a countdown to a floor vote in early December. And just as the final count lined up, House Democrats released 3 emails from Epstein's estate files. In one, Epstein tells Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump was the dog that hasn't barked. In another, he writes that a redacted victim spent hours at my house with him. And in a third, he claims Trump knew about the girls and asked Ghislaine to make it stop. The White House says the victim in question is Virginia Giuffre, and that she never accused Trump of wrongdoing. They called the release a smear. So of course, as per the playbook, hours later, House Republicans countered with about 20,000 pages of documents from the estate, flooding the zone with noise. This morning, Rep. Boebert met with White House officials. Reports say they urged her to drop her support before the petition hits 218. Because you see, that's how the game works. Apply pressure now to freeze the count before the rules kick in. But what you need to understand is that even once it does, they still have time to stall. Because under House rules, discharge votes can only happen on the second or fourth Monday after a 7-day waiting period. And some folks are wondering what else might come into play. Because in the past week, we've seen the D.C. National Guard deployment quietly extended through February. Not for a new emergency, just as a precaution. But that timing matters. And we've seen how governments use calendar delays under emergency framing and distraction to shift the public eye. So we don't know what comes next, but the pressure to suppress is real. The Constitution gave Congress the power to compel and to investigate and to force disclosure. It's right there in Article 1. And in Federalist 51, Madison says ambition must be made to counteract ambition. This isn't about Epstein. Not really. It's about whether the people's branch can still force open what the executive wants to keep shut in any and all instances. They did it in 1974, when the Supreme Court told Nixon to hand over the tapes. They did it again in 1975, when the Church Committee exposed secret abuses inside our own government. And so it seems, now it's our turn to decide what we're willing to look at, no matter how ugly or who it touches. And so here's the question. Will we let power play keep away with the truth, or demand that the files be opened? The records exist. The rules are written. What happens next is up to us insofar as we can choose to be undeterred by distractions and manufactured emergencies, ones that are used to insist that disclosure will have to wait again.